Hello guys, once again welcome. So today our topic is diabetic ketoacidosis. So first I am going to tell you what is the DKA means. So here D stands for diabetic, means the patient has diabetes mellitus. K for keto means ketone group is present in the body, and acidosis means that there is increased amount of protons in the body. So what basically DKA is a complication of the diabetes mellitus, and it is more complication in type 1 as compared to the type 2 diabetes mellitus. So this is our first question. Here it arises that DKA is more common in type 1 patient as compared to type 2 diabetes mellitus. So basically DKA develops when there is mild or severe deficiency of insulin, means that there is insulin is not coming and insulinopenia is developed in the when the patient has insulinopenia, due to which the sugar cannot enter into the muscles and the muscles did not get the enough amount of energy. So for cells to get energy, they will be burning fats like TAG, and it gets break into the free fatty acids, and increase amount of free fatty acids will breaks into the ketone bodies. And as we all know that there are three types of ketone bodies in our body, and ketones are highly acidic and they can damage the blood brain barrier because protons due to the protons can damage our blood brain barrier and it cause the encephalopathy. So what are the types of hormones which are increased in the diabetic ketoacidosis? So in DKA there are three types of hormones which get increased in DKA, like growth hormone, cortisol and catecholamine. So these are the three hormones, and these hormones, as they increase in the blood, they lead to the increased amount of blood sugar levels, and as the blood sugar level increases, that leads to the osmotic diuresis, and in osmotic diuresis dehydration and polyuria is present in the body. So now I am going to tell you what are the triggers of DKA. So triggers of DKA are like infection, surgery, MI and cerebrovascular accident. As the infection occurs, then the increased amount of the sugar and insulin is required by the body because we have to need more energy. So energy requirement is more. As the energy requirement more, so sugar and insulin requirement is also increased. As the blood sugar increases, then the counter hormone again increases and ketolysis occur and more ketones bodies are formed inside the body and the patient condition get more deteriorated. So these occur in the diabetic ketoacidosis patient. So as blood sugar increases, osmolality of blood increases, and which lead to fluid shift across the brain and causing hypoosmolality, and which lead to the CNS manifestation like stupor and coma. So here one question arises that stupor and coma occurs why? So it occurs due to the hyperosmolality, because the osmolality is increased. That's why it lead to the stupor and coma. That's why brain manifestation comes. So as we know through biochemistry that there are three types of ketone bodies. They were beta hydroxybutyrate, acetoacetate and acetone. So in DKA patient that there is increased amount of beta hydroxybutyrate, so we can't do the ketostic test. So I am going to write here that ketostic test is not done in DKA patient because there in beta hydroxybutyrate there is no ketone group present in this compound. So ketostic test is done when there is ketone group is present. So in DKA beta hydroxybutyrate group we have to check in the blood, and that's why ketostic test is not done. So what are the signs and symptoms? So for this I made one mnemonic, that is DKA. D for dehydration, delirium or psychosis, and K for cosmal respiration, and A for abdominal pain like nausea and vomiting. So fruity breath odor is come due to the exhaled acetone. What are the findings which we find in the labs? So in labs we find that there is in the patient body there is increased amount of glucose that leads to hyperglycemia, and increase amount of protons. There is increased amount of proton because acidosis is developed in the patient, and as the H plus ion is increase in our bodies, then H plus is combined with bicarbonate and it lead to form H2CO3, which break down into water and CO2, and CO2 get exhaled, wash out from the body, and acidotic hyperventilation occurs in the patient body. So as the H bicarbonate is combined with H plus, so bicarbonate level is decreased in our body. So in DKA patient there is decreased amount of bicarbonate, and which lead to increase anion gap metabolic acidosis, and increase urine and blood ketone levels, because ketone bodies formation increase in the patient body, and there is a leukocytosis, increase amount of white blood cells due to infection, and normal and increased serum potassium level. So basically here the potassium level is increased because the acidosis causes the potassium efflux, means potassium comes out from the cells and leading to the compartment shift. That's why in the serum there is increased amount of potassium. So depleted intracellular potassium, so intracellular potassium is decreased and serum potassium level is increased, and potassium also lost in the urine, so total body potassium is depleted. But in this DKA patient there is increased amount of potassium, hyperkalemia occurs in the patient. So what are the complication of DKA? The complication of DKA are like mucormycosis, cerebral edema, cardiac arrhythmia, and heart failure. All these were the complications of the DKA. So for the treatment, what we have to give and in what order we have to give. So basically in DKA patient we have to follow the order, like first we have to give intravenous fluids, and then we have to give insulin administration, and then we have to give potassium chloride. So why my question is for you, that why we did not give ringer lactate in ringer lactate in DKA patient. So basically ringer lactate is not given because in ringer lactate there is increased amount of potassium in ringer lactate. So in DKA patient there is already hyperkalemia, so if we give ringer lactate, then it also increases the more amount of potassium in the body. That's why ringer lactate is contraindicated. So I am going to here write that ringer lactate is contraindicated in diabetic ketoacidosis patient. So for in DKA we give the normal saline to the patient, that is 0.9% normal saline is given to the patient, and it is given like 5 liter of normal saline is given in total 8 hours, in which first 1 liter is given in first 2 hours, and after that we have to give 400 ml per hour normal saline. And we have to give insulin administration because in DKA patient there is increased amount of glucose, means hyperglycemia is there, so we have to manage the glucose level in the patient body. That's why we have to give insulin, because DKA occurs due to deficiency of insulin. That's why we have to give insulin administration, and we can give insulin like regular insulin, or we can also give in the bolus form, and in bolus form we have to give 0.1 u per kg. And why we have to give potassium chloride to the patient, because as there is increased amount of potassium in the body, that is hyperkalemia. In DKA the patient has hyperkalemia, so when we give normal saline to the patient, it means that it neutralizes the potassium level in the body, but it decreases, it suddenly deteriorate the patient, suddenly decrease the amount of potassium, that can lead to hypokalemia. And in hypokalemia there is chances of torsa de pontis occurs. So to prevent from the torsa de pontis, to prevent from the hypokalemia, we have to give potassium chloride to the patient. So this is all about DKA. I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you.